To you. Good morning, everyone. If you can hear and see my presentation, kindly type in high speed in the comment section, please. If you can see my presentation, kindly type in a high speed in the comment section. Okay, great. Iris, cool, thank you. Good morning to you. Moise 82, good morning to you. All right, thank you very much. I'm glad to hear that. It's a chilly morning here in Nigeria, and I welcome you to yet another Extra and Speed live session with my humble self, Sheriff Daramola. So, hey, Carrie, good morning to you. Glad to have you around. Well, we have a couple of pairs that we want to be looking at today. But before we do, we are going to look at what we talked about yesterday, and probably I quickly share with you my new setups for this morning. After which I would we can deliberate on the ones we discussed yesterday. I will look at that. We will look at that. I actually don't have. I had gold on my plan yesterday. I took a sell on gold yesterday. However, I opted out of the trade towards the end of towards the opening of the Asian session yesterday. I left the trade, and we can look at it again today, and let's see what's happening on gold. I'll pen that down at the moment, and so that I won't forget. And if I do, please remind me during the session so we can look at it. Good morning, everyone. So, with no much further ado, did anyone take the US oil yesterday, the US UK oil yesterday? So, let's start with the US oil this morning. Did anyone take that trade yesterday, the selling opportunity that came up after the breakdown of the demand zone? Remember, we had two scenarios here on the US oil where we mentioned we identified two key levels. The first one at $110.50 and the other one at 108.50 cent. And we were saying that if we see a breakout of the 110.50, that is, if we see a breakout of this area, we want to take a reversal pattern at a retest of structure at 110.50, but that did not happen. And if we look closely into what happened on the lower time frame here, we saw the breakdown of the demand zone, which also shares a confluence with the $108.50 area, and we saw price crashing to the downside. So we actually had our TP at 106, which was around 250 pips, but price extended beyond that, and I'm of the opinion that we have to hold on here on the US oil to see how price plays out, after which we could take an advantage on this one. But before I do, hold on a second, give me a moment, please. Okay, so here on the USOil, what can we do? What are we going to be looking out for as we head into the New York session? Well, I'll first of all want to have a clean screen at this point, and let's see how we could take advantage of whatever momentum is building up right now. So let's delete all this as this is no longer relevant, and let's see what's happening right here. So as we can see what has been happening the last 24 hours here on the US oil, we already saw a breakdown of the structure here. We saw a breakdown of the structure, and that's giving us a signal of a bearish momentum. So from a technical perspective, we might be looking forward to a retest of that structure, that is the breakdown of the structure, after which we'll look for a trend continuation to the downside. But are we sure that price is going to go back up from this area before we see price coming down? So I would like to scale down to, let's say, the 15 minutes time frame. Let's see what has been happening here. And well, personally, I'm not convinced that I want to take any buy opportunity here unless I see we have this impulsive move, then this move to the downside. If this move does not close below this previous low at $103, then I want to be looking forward to a reversal pattern at this point where I see a breakout of structure. Then I can take that trade down to that structure we identified earlier on the 1 hour time frame, after which a trend continuation to the downside could happen, or probably trend continuation to the upside. So that is the scenario where I'm looking out for at this point. So going into the New York session, we should identify a key level around this area, and it seems as $105 appears to be a key level here. So let's label this key level at $105. $105. We have a key level at $105. Let's place this at the right hand side of the screen. So, and if this happens to become a reversal pattern, let's say the double bottom structure, that is, if we see price, the key level at 105 now becomes the neckline of the structure, and if we see a breakout of that structure, then a retest of structure here on the 15 minutes or the 5 minutes time frame, and look for patterns to join the rally to the upside. Now let's go back to the 1 hour time frame. So what I'm saying here is this: we have a key level now sitting right at $105, and not until we see a breakout of that key level, we are not going to do any buy on this one, as price could continue to the downside. So, but if we see a breakout of $105, then a retest of that structure with patterns on lower time frame that supports a trend continuation should welcome an opportunity to join the bullish momentum to the upside. However, it is important I state here that the bullish momentum that could happen could probably be a retracement of this previous impulse leg we witnessed since the beginning of the week. So, and if that is going to happen, then definitely our first take profit target should fall within our golden zone area. That is, if we bring out our retracement tool and run it through that impulse leg, we should be having our take profit target within the 78.6 and the 50% of the previous impulse leg. So we should be having a scenario like this, and let's see, we should be having a scenario like this where our take profit target will be within this area. So we should have a buy. Okay, I think that should give it around, let's say, a 300 pips move, with our stop loss right below the key level at around 50 pips, 50 pips or 46 pips thereabouts, depending on where the entry points happens during the New York session. However, if we see a breakdown of that previous low, that is, we already have a low here at $103. Give me a moment. Let's identify this area. So we already have a key level here at $103. Sorry, a previous low at $103. And if we see a breakdown of that area, then definitely we want to ignore the key level at 105. That is, we want to ignore the reversal pattern that we identified, we are projecting earlier. So for now, that is what I'm thinking is going to happen as we head into the New York session. We have a key level holding at 105, which will also serve as our neckline structure. And we want to be looking out for the breakout of that key level to give us a signal of a bullish momentum here on the US oil. Okay, so are there any questions or clarifications needed? Dan Elijah, hi, how are you? Good morning. 566, hello, good morning to you. So that is great on that is what we want to be doing on the US oil. So moving on, we move on to the UK oil, where we are looking at almost the same similar scenario, as we do have price running in profit right now if you are taking advantage of that move after the breakdown of the key level at $112. Now, price appears to be rejecting the $108, $109 area, and we might be seeing a move to do a retest of that key level on 112 area, or the bullish trend line we identified during I think on Monday session, that could send price further down. So at this point, we are, for those who took advantage of that move, you'll probably be in around 210 pips in profit on this one, and it's advisable that you move your stop loss to somewhere around here to at least to lock in some profits should price decide to reverse at this point. So if you move your stop loss somewhere around here, that's around 100 pips, 120 pips up on this one, and let's see how price plays out afterwards. So now, since we now have a breakdown of that bullish trend line, that is this breakdown of the bullish trend line here and the breakdown of our key level at $112, then it is clear that we are on a bearish trend. I want to delete the key level here, as that no longer suffices. So we have the setup now. And besides that, let's see, we have this impulse leg that started last week. We had this impulse leg, and if we project this impulse leg into the future using our Fibonacci extension tool and run it through that impulse leg we have here, we have our 127.2% and 1414 within this area, as this area would be a potential for buying opportunity, very possible, because from a technical perspective, when we see an impulse leg and we extend it, the extension is expected to culminate at around 127.2 or 1414 area. And if that is going to happen, then definitely we should be looking out for a reversal pattern within this area at $108 or $108.50 area. We'll be looking for something like this, a reversal pattern within this area to send price going to the upside. So if I were you on this one, if we are going to buy, it is important I emphasize that buying at this juncture in the market is more or less a counter trend opportunity. And if we look at what has been happening since last week on the 17th of June last week, and we run our retracement tool, if price culminates within this area, we have a golden zone around the 78.6 and the 50% area, which could bring an opportunity to sell. So what I'm saying specifically is this: if we at any point see a reversal pattern within this area, buying the counter trend into this zone at $116, we could see a reversal pattern here that will send price crashing, considering the trend that's initiated last week. We can see that since last week we've been trending low on the UK oil. So if we are going to sell, if we want to sell big on this one, if price comes back into this 116 area, then we could be looking for pattern that will support a trend continuation to the downside. So that is the first, the first scenario, no, sorry, the second scenario that we want to be looking out for. So like I said, the first thing I told you here is to move your stop loss to $110, 65 cents, as this could, we could have a significant move to the upside. We already have a retest of our buy opportunity zone. So let's go to a 15 minutes time frame. Let's see if we have a reversal pattern forming already. And if we look at what's happening here on the 15 minutes time frame, we can see that we already have a low, and it appears a higher low has formed. As we can see, we had multiple rejection of the $109.30 area in the last 1 hour 30 minutes. And because we have this multiple rejection in this area, we had the 1, 2, 3. I'm of the opinion that we could have a reversal pattern if price does not break below the $108.50 area. So this is what will be our expectation if we do have that reversal pattern. We have this, then where our stop loss is for our selling opportunity will now become the neckline of the structure at this point. So $110.50 appears to be most appropriate to place our neckline at this point. So if this higher low still holds as we head into the New York session, that is, we don't have a breakdown of this area, then definitely a break above of the neckline should give us a bullish signal. And mind you, we are not supposed to get excited when that bullish signal happens, as we want to wait for confirmations to join the bullish momentum. And what we want to be doing to find confirmation is to see price come back to do a retest of structure, after which we look for patterns here on the lower time frame, or probably on the 2 minute, on the 1 minute, 5 minutes time frame, to look for bullish momentum that will send price back into that $116 area that I mentioned earlier as our selling opportunity zone. So this is what my expectation is going to be like here on the UK oil. So if that happens, then definitely we want to be doing a counter trend opportunity, opening the position right above the neckline at $110.50, and we want to be taking that bullish momentum with a scenario that looks more like this. That's around the 520 pips with a stop loss right below the previous low. If we look left, we can see that between the 50 and the 70% pips will be most appropriate for our stop loss, and this is subject to where our entry point is when the New York section begins. So this is the scenario we are looking out for as a counter trade opportunity that we're looking out for here on the UK oil. And if we go back to our 1 hour time frame and see where our selling opportunity is, and we look left, we can see that we have a structure that has been a selling niche for participants in the market in the past. And if we look left, we can see we had a supply zone around this area, a supply zone which has been holding since the later part of March, and we can see until we had a breakout of that structure here in the month of May. We had a breakout of that supply zone. We had a retest of that area which pushed price further to the upside. Now it appears prices back at that supply zone area, and we're also looking for another selling opportunity within that area that could send price going to the downside. But before the selling opportunity happens, a counter trend opportunity appears to be more visible as we head into the New York session today. So we are aiming at if our over 500 pips move, if we have a breakout and retest of that structure we identified on the 15 minutes time frame, then we will join the rally, and when price comes into this area, then we want to be looking for selling opportunities from the $116 area. I hope I hope you are very clear on my explanation, and if you are not clear enough, you can jump into the comment section and make your claims. I'll look it up and I would definitely be of help to re-explain or make it more simple for you. Okay. Hey, Scott Benji, I'm so glad you're around. We missed you yesterday. I think in the last 2 days we've not been seeing you. What happened? Trust you're doing well. And how is your trading? Ben Sophie, hello everyone. Okay, hi, how are you? Okay. Okay. 934 is asking for more information. Information about what? 813, very good. Okay. Hey Jawi, hi, how are you? SV77, hello to you. How are you doing? Trust you're doing well today. Okay. So let's move on to the next pair. We talked about yesterday. We talked about the GBPJPY, and we have a scenario here on the GBPJPY where price has come down from our entry point and appears to be doing. I don't know why. I should have taken this earlier. So remember yesterday we took this trade yesterday from this area, and price continue. We had a double bottom structure here. We had a rejection of the 165.500 area yesterday, which sent price going to the upside. We were so close to hitting the take profit target at 168 Japanese yen when price came back down. So personally, I moved my stop loss to this area, and during the early hours of today, I was stopped out with about how many pips was that? Like 96, 97 pips. Unfortunately, I only took one position on this trade, and I ended up with a 97 pips on this one. Then I saw this move to the downside. I saw this move, this retracement move, and I was waiting for a double bottom structure or a reversal pattern to join the rally to the upside. However, that is there to form. And all of a sudden, now opening the chart right now, I saw this bullish engulfing candle, and I'm hoping that I'm not going to miss this trade at this point. So one thing I want to be looking out for, if you want to join me on the GBPJPY this morning, as we have seen the retracement phase, we saw this retracement move, we saw this first one. I'm thinking this pattern that's want to form here looks more like an inverse head and shoulder pattern, which from a technical perspective is also a very, very strong reversal pattern. So I'm looking at the right shoulder, the left shoulder here. I'm looking at the head, and I'm hoping that we have a right shoulder that will give us a confirmation that this is a reversal pattern, after which we see a breakout of structure, a retest of structure to join the rally to the upside. So this is my perspective here on the GBPJPY, and I hope things work as expected, as we want to see price come down a little bit, because it's most appropriate we join when price is a little bit cheaper, at least the most cheapest price, to join a bullish potential when it happens. So this is what I'm looking out for going into the New York session. And to make things easier for you, I want to identify a key level within this area, and if I bring out my line chart at this point, we can see that we have a structure here. The inverse head and shoulder has a neckline around this area at 160. I think 167 will be most appropriate here. 167, and let's give this a gold color. Oh, sorry, that's a gold. We have a gold color here, 167. So key level, or let's name it our neckline. It's not a neckline yet. Let's just make it a key level. Key level at 167 area, which I'll be waiting for a reversal pattern. Sorry, a breakout of that structure to join the potential bullish momentum we've identified here on the 1 hour time frame. So going back to my candle chart pattern, candle chart rather, so we want to see a breakout of this key level at 167 area, retest of structure to join the potential move to the upside. So let's say our entry point will be right above this area after confirmation is done, and then we have our position looking something like this. Our last take profit target was at $168, 168 Japanese yen rather, and we didn't see price hit that take profit target before we saw that retracement move. So this new entry now we should be having price below the previous structure here. We can see we had bullish more potential from this area at 166.820 area. So 35-40 pips I think is most appropriate at this point. Then we should be having our take profit target. Give me a moment, please. Let us project this impulse leg into the future. So you can see we had this impulse leg here before that retracement move happened, and we want to project that impulse leg by bringing out our Fibonacci extension tool and running it through that impulse leg, and we should be having a 127.2 and 1414 area as our take profit target. So if we do that appropriately, we should be having around 169 Japanese yen as our take profit target from this point. So that will be fetching us about I think close over 180 pips on the GBPJPY, and if structure permits us, we could be having multiple entries when we go down to the lower time frame to see key levels to take advantage of adding more position to this trade. So on the GBPJPY, let's hope that price plays out as expected. We want to see a breakout of the key level at $167, a retest of structure on our lower time frame with patterns supporting a trend continuation to the upside. So our take profit target will remain at 169 Japanese yen, which I told you earlier will give us about over 180 pips to catch. So that is the scenario we are looking out for here on the GBPJPY. Okay. So AUDJPY, is oil still going down? Oh well, I think I just explained. I talked about oil earlier. I guess you missed that. And I'll suggest that you stay with us through to the end of the session, where I will be giving you a recap of what we discussed so far. So please hold on, stay with us till the end of the session. Close to the end of the session, I shall be sharing a recap of what we talked about. So Shamenik is asking for CAD JPY and CHF JPY. Well, I'm not sure I have that on my queue, but let's see if that will be possible as we go on, because I'm still going to talk about AUDJPY as well, and I think most of the Japanese yen pairs share the same setup, but let's see what's going to happen. Alright, so we move on to the AUDJPY, which I also shared yesterday, and if we look at what happened here on the AUDJPY, price was price retraced from 95.300 area. We had a take profit target at 96 Japanese yen, but unfortunately price did not reach that place before the retracement happened. And when price moved above this area, when price was at around 95 Japanese yen, I moved my stop loss to 94.780, where I was taken out yesterday. And when price came back down, sincerely, I had four positions running on this trade, and all my four positions, let me see, I had like a minimum of 110 pips, and with four positions, I closed with over 400 pips on this one, and before price came back down to this area. Now, interestingly, if we look at how price is been playing out here on the AUDJPY, allow me to delete this at this point. It's no longer needed, and I'll be deleting this, all these entry points. Remember my purple, when you see a purple dotted line, those are my entry points when I took the trade. So I'm deleting that at this point. And let's see, you can see how interesting it is. It appears our key level at 93.500 still going to be holding price. You know, we identified this on Monday where we said 93.5 shall be our key level, as anything above 93.500 area would welcome a buying opportunity. Now price is back into that area, and we saw the first touch of that area during the in the last hour. We saw the touch of that area. We saw a sharp rejection of that area, and I'm hoping that price will continue with patterns that supports a trend continuation to the upside from this area. So what are we going to be looking out for going into the New York session? Well, remember we had a key level at 93.500, and if you are taking back the trade from this point, it's still good for you. From this area at 93.621 is still good for you, because I actually placed a buy limit here, hoping to take advantage of that move. So I think this trade was triggered in the last hour before I came online. Yes, I placed a buy limit before. So if you are taking that move at that point, yes, that's good. It's good. And as long as we're still above 93.5, which is most appropriate at this point. So if we are going to the New York, when we're going to the New York session now, I want to make things simpler for you. And what I will be suggesting at this point is this. If we look left, we can see that this area here has been a strong demand area in the past. We can see how that area has been a strong demand. You can see there's been a strong demand in the past, and one of those rejection led to the impulsive move that we saw in the beginning of this week. So this area again, I'm still thinking this area will be a buying niche for participants in the market. So because of that, we want to be identifying a level connecting that area together. We will be having a level here at I think 94 will be most appropriate. 94 is more or less a psychological level. So let's place this one here. So I will make this a purple line, I guess, a purple line. So there's a purple line here. So we want to be looking for you now. Anything above this area is a good for you to buy. Trust me. As long as we are above that level, allow me to label that area. We have level at 94 Japanese yen, 94.00. That's purple. Let's give it a purple here. So we have a level at 94. So I'm looking forward to price breaking above that area to add more position to this. Mind you, I told you I'm already in this trade, so I will be looking forward to something like this, a retest of structure look on lower time frame, and to join the potential rally to the upside. So where will our take profit target be from this point? Remember, we have an impulse leg that started here, and we want to project that impulse leg using our Fibonacci extension tool, and we would have run it through that impulse leg. We have a 127.2 and 1414 area to catch as our first take profit target from this area. That is, if we have a break above the 94 Japanese yen area. So you can stay at 127.2, or if you like, you can extend it into 96 Japanese yen, which will give us about close to 200 pips on this one. So where will our stop loss be? Stop loss will be right below the previous structure. I want our stop loss to be around this area. That is 93.570 area, which will give us about 45 pips. And let's see how price plays out during the New York session. So mind you, this kind of position setup here might give us multiple entries as we continue to see breakouts of structures. If we see a breakout of structure, breakout retest of structure here, we can see we have multiple levels. We can add more positions to this trade. So if we have a breakout retest of that structure too, we can take advantage of that move and add position to our existing trade. So this is my perspective here on the AUDJPY. So I'm still expecting that the Japanese yen is still going to crash further to the downside. Remember I told you the beginning of the week that I have an inclination into a bearish Japanese yen for this week, and it appears the way price has been moving since the beginning of the week is tending towards that prediction. So let's see what happens as we head into the New York session. Mind you, any breakdown of this bullish trend line will negate any bullish setup. Breakdown of that bullish trend line, which also shares a confluence with that key level, will negate any bullish setup on this one. So we want to continue to see price rally above 93.5 or 93.5 area to be comfortable for bullish potential here on the AUDJPY. So that is that on the AUDJPY. Paris Steffi is asking, what can I buy? Well, I just explained a pair here on AUDJPY, which has a potential for buying opportunity, and I think it's advisable that you remain patient and watch out for the structures to evolve so that you can take advantage of those trade. And I used to advise here on the forum that you can screenshot my screen so that you can keep it and use it as a reference point when you're about to make your individual decision on whatever trade you're taking. So that's that on the AUDJPY. Can HBP, hi, how are you? 228, hi, how are you? You're welcome on board. Miloteti, hello, how are you too? Foxa, PS, what does that mean? I'm not sure what that means. Okay. Hello, I'd like to have more information. Well, I'm not sure what information you're asking for. High School, hi, how are you? Good morning. Besta, hello, you're welcome. Okay, I think we are good to go now. Let's move on to the next pair. And on the next pair, we're having GBPCAD. And on GBPCAD, we are still struggling on GBPCAD as price has come back to my entry point and has already stopped out because before this session, I placed my stop loss at the entry point and price has just stopped us out of that trade. If you're in that trade, you should be out of that trade by now. You should be out of that trade. And the way things are going now, it appears price wants to break above that bearish trend line, do a retest of that key level at 1.5920 to go to the upside. But we are not going to be in a rush to make a decision on the GBPCAD. And why is that? We are within a supply zone. We have a supply zone here which has tendencies of rejection by participants in the market. We've been having selling pressures from this area at 1.596, 1.6 area since on the 16th of June. And if we look at what has been happening throughout the last week's session, we can see that we have an impulse leg. We have an impulsive move to the upside. And could this be the end of the retracement move? Could this be the end of the retracement move? We are not sure that is. And if we do have a breakout of that bearish trend line, I'm of the opinion that we want to be looking out for a retest of structure with reversal patterns to join the potential rally to the upside. Let me go back to the daily time frame. Let me show you what I was saying, what we discussed earlier this week. During the week, during the Monday session here, I explained to you how the GBPCAD has been on a bearish momentum since the month of March, hereby respecting that bearish trend line you can see on your screen, the black trend line you can see on your screen. And when we began this week, we saw price oscillating right around that key level, sorry, right around that bearish trend line, where I was suspecting that we could be having one more rejection before the move to the upside. But the way things are going right now, considering what has happened today, I'm of the opinion that we just need to be patient, as we need to see what structure is going to evolve at this point in time to make a decision on this trade. So the first one is this: if we see a breakout of the 1.5920, which also shares a confluence with the bearish trend line, then a retest of that structure with a reversal pattern would incite a trend continuation to the upside. So this, which now makes this breakout a valid breakout. However, there is a possibility that if we see a breakout, we could have a strong rejection to the downside again. So anything can happen from this area. So it's a very, very sensitive area. I always emphasize that when price is oscillating right above or below a trend line, we should be very, very careful around that area, as we could see any spike could push price in any direction it is moving. So in this area, there is an inclination for shaking off people, shaking off traders from the market. So we need to just hold on this GBPCAD, please. Let's hold on GBPCAD, and let's see what happens in the next 24 hours or probably the next 12 hours. And if we continue to see, we continue to look out for structures that will support a move. So that's that on GBPCAD. Then we moved on to EURUSD. Yes, I think EURUSD is one pair that we need to talk about too as well. And I'm already in on the EURUSD. We saw price move to the upside yesterday. Price tested 1.05800 area before we started seeing the bearish move to the downside. So I had three positions running. The purple line are my positions, which I took on this trade. And as yesterday I told you, I moved my stop loss to third entry point. And as price was oscillating at 1.05800 during the New York session around this area, I had to move my stop loss to 1.05470. Sorry for the breaking transmission. So we had price coming back into the key level at 1.05, sorry, 1.0, I think 1.04900 area, which appears to be holding price one more time. As we can see, we had this sharp rejection of this area. We can see the sharp rejection of this area where price started this week. And because of this, I opened a position at 1.0500 area, which is more or less a psychological level. And right now I'm running with about how many pips in profit now? About 20 pips in profit, and I think price will continue to the upside from this area. So one thing I did at this point now is to expect price to break above this key level we identified yesterday, after which we see a retest of structure, then I can add more position to this trade. So now for those who are not yet in this trade, how can you take advantage of the trend continuation if it finally happens? Well, look at what happened here. You can see the buy opportunity zone we identified here on Monday. We can see how price has respected that zone. We see every time price comes back into that area, we see a sharp rejection of that area. We see it again, and now we have a higher low, which is a sign that the buyers are very strong at this juncture in the market. So I'm expecting price to slice through 1.05300 during the New York session back up. So for those who are not in this trade, what I'll be suggesting at this point is that we remain patient, as we want to see price break above that key level we identified yesterday at 1.05300. Want to see price break above that level, do a retest of structure, then we can join the rally to the upside. So that's the scenario I will be suggesting we take advantage of as we head into the New York session. Our take profit target still remain at 1.07 on 7,000, and if we are taking right from 1.05300, definitely we want to be having, we will be having, let's see what that is. We will be having around 160, close to 170 pips to catch. So our stop loss should be right around that key level at 1.05900 or right below it, which will give us around 35 to 40 pips, which is not bad, as we need room for our price to run in whatever direction it wants to choose. So this is my scenario here on the Euro USD, and I hope price moves as expected here on the Euro USD. Now let me take one more pair at Euro AUD. We talked about Euro AUD yesterday, and look at what is happening here on Euro AUD. We are almost close to our take profit target at 1.52800. How many pips left? We have about 27 pips left to get to our take profit targets. We can see we were here yesterday. During the session, we saw price come back to our entry point. We were taking out at stop loss here, and we had multiple rejections of this area, giving us a sign we had a breakout of structure, retest of structure, and price moved to the upside. If you are taking advantage of this move, kudos to you. And presently we are running with about how many pips in profit? We are 116 pips in profit. I have two positions running on this one. So I will be advising that we move our stop loss to the previous structure here at 1.521 area, where we will be looking forward to if price is still going to continue to respect that bullish trend line. So this bullish trend line, if price respect that bullish trend line and we see double bottom structure, I'm going to add more position and extend my TP. But for you, just let's it run. Let's see how price plays out, because I want to be around with you during the New York session to see if it is worth taking if we do see a reversal pattern right on that bullish trend line. So the last one I want to be sharing with you is the USDCAD, which we explained yesterday, and I told you how price took me out as stop loss, and I told you I was expecting price to come back into the 1.297 area for another selling opportunity. And if you look at what happened here, we had that rejection here. We had the first rejection. We had the first rejection of this area. Price came back down, but we didn't see the second rejection as price continued to the upside. So what I did here is this: when I saw price coming into this area again, I just had my entry again. I've had my entry triggered now, and sincerely I'm going to stack up more positions on this. Sorry, I'm going to be stacking up my position here on this trade on the USDCAD. As we can see the position, I'm still expecting a bearish momentum here on the USDCAD. So this is what my scenario is going to be looking out going into the to the New York session. My take profit target remain at 1.288 and my stop loss right above 1.3 area, where I'm giving room for price to play. So let's quickly run through the previous pairs we talked about today. On the US oil, I made mention of a possibility here on a 15 minutes time frame where I'm looking out for a reversal pattern in the form of a double bottom structure, and you can see the previous low is not yet broken, and I want to see price break out of this key level here on the US oil. We have a key level here at $105, a retest of structure where I'll be looking for patterns to join the potential bullish momentum to the upside, which I'm of the opinion is going to be a retracement of the previous impulse leg. Now, if we go back to the 1 hour time frame, I identified a certain opportunity within this area, as if price comes into this area during the New York session or tomorrow morning, I want to be looking out for a reversal pattern to sell the US oil. Now, the other scenario I shared was on the UK oil, where I'm also expecting the same scenario. I'm looking out for price to break out of that neckline, a retest of structure to push price further up, where I'm having a sudden opportunity at around $117, where we will be looking forward to a selling opportunity going into the New York session, into tomorrow, because we never can tell what will happen. We could get into that selling opportunity during the New York session today, but I'm not sure if that is going to happen. So we move on to USD CAD. I told you, okay, selling opportunity still holding. And then on the Euro USD, I told you how I'm expecting a bullish momentum here. And I told you to be patient, as you should be waiting for price to break above 1.05300 area, a retest of structure, then look for patterns on lower time frame to join the potential rally to the upside. Our take profit target on the Euro USD remains at 1.0700 area. And moving on to, I think we talked about, did we talk about GBP USD? Oh no, we didn't. So Euro AUD. Then we talked about GBPJPY as well. And I told you how I'm still expecting a bullish momentum here. And one thing I want to be looking out for is a breakout of my key level at 167 Japanese yen, where I'll be looking for a retest of the structure to join the 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 momentum to the upside. So that is that on the GBPJPY. So I'm very grateful for being around with you guys today. I hope you had a wonderful session, and I look forward to seeing you same time tomorrow, and with good news. I hope I get good news for you tomorrow as well. So thank you for being around, and I wish you the best of